Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Now, you can find all the links in the description box below or trainworld.com. And without further ado, enjoy today's video. All right, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to Thomas. Well, I guess it's Thursday, and we're very excited. May the 4th be with Thomas. And Christian, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well, Ken. And guys, just for the record, before there's anyone who says hashtag fire anyone, it is my fault this time that a Thomas event for May 2023 is on Thursday and not Tuesday, all right? So February, yes, that was Ken. But this time it's me, so now we broke even. So both Train World guys had their fair share in making a mistake.
That's right. All in good fun. And Christian, what do you have lined up for us tonight?
Lots of awesome stuff. So, you know, Ken, in the past few streams, there's been a lot of focus on the HO Thomas, always focus on HO Thomas, on narrow gauge, and then also on lots of N scale. You know, that's really been kicking off a lot lately. So today I thought it would be awesome to invite two guests who have awesome G-scale, also known as large-scale Thomas & Friends collections, and they have their custom models lined up. In addition to that, it's just going to be really awesome stream altogether. So, Henry Fan 91, I'll start with you. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. And also, since you're in the UK, it is what, 11 p.m. right now where you are?
Yeah, it is.
Crazy. Guys, it is 11 p.m. And those of you in the chat, I'm sure there's some of you in Europe or in Asia, some crazy part of the world, where it's like some crazy time as well. So thank you as always for tuning in, no matter where you are in the whole world. And we're just super excited to see what Henry Fan, also known as Ashley, has lined up. And John, how are you doing this evening? Thomas J219.
Good. How are you guys?
Great as always. And for those of you who are OGs in the Thomas fandom, you may remember Thomas J219 or 219 from way back in 2006, 2007. Yeah, because he's been in the fandom a very, very long time. And he was one of my inspirations. And I can definitely say, John, like that's the case for many people watching tonight as well. So that's
Thank
that.
you.
And
I don't know
Doug,
about that,
man who everyone always hypes over. How are you tonight?
Very well, thanks. Great to be with everyone. And I have to say it as well. May the 4th be with you. It's just got to be done.
Yeah, and Ken, you know, that was you, right, who came up with that expression.
I didn't come up with it, but I used it.
Oh, really? Okay. I was wondering who came up with that. That wasn't me. It was not me, guys. No. For the record.
It just was timed out perfect for it to be May 4th.
So I guess Thomas Thursday wasn't such a bad thing after all. So
that's it. That's it.
All is well, Christian.
But yes, so tonight we're going to do things a little bit differently. I think we're actually going to be starting with Doug Blaine and the new product updates by Bachmann trains before transitioning into the G-scale presentations. So without further ado, let's kick it off.
Before we kick it over to Doug, we do have another raffle tonight.
Okay.
So we're not going to do it yet. We'll let Doug go.
and then we'll do this towards the end of the show. So everybody needs to stay on and stay tuned because this raffle is going to be a good one that everybody's going to want to participate in. So we will be raffling off this N scale Thomas Bachmann set. And again, this was slightly used by Christian, so it has his mojo, and it could even come with his signature if you would like. But it was used in one of our Train World TV videos that Christian put together. And he actually has been doing some great series with the Bachmann starter sets and really just how to get into trains. And Bachmann has so many great starter sets, and they're known for, great way to get into the hobby with these starter sets at affordable prices. And Thomas and N-Scale, that's wild. So
Yes.
it's really neat. And for your collector fans out there, whether you have HO, G scale, O scale, now you can get into another size, and this is going to be a great raffle. And this time, Christian actually put it back together very well packed. so
Ken, I told you the reason why the other one didn't work out was because there was no plastic sheet to, prevent the engines from getting out of the box. So that's my defense.
Okay. All right. Well, I forgot who won the raffle last month, but whoever we shipped it out to, we apologize for the wrapping.
Christian, you just froze, so if you were defending yourself, it was useless.
Christian? He just has a serious face. He's locked in.
We'll get him back.
I've learned to film myself.
You hear
If
me
I
now?
want to get something back in the box, I film myself opening it now.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, Christian, we can hear you now. Oh,
Okay, sorry. I don't know. There was a bit of lag there.
Yeah, you're lagging out, so we're gonna kick it over to Doug for the time being. And Christian, I'm not sure if you want to restart your computer. It seems like you overloaded your computer with Thomas excitement. So we are gonna kick it over to Doug, and Doug has some really exciting stuff. As usual, he never disappoints. So we're excited to hear what he has to say for tonight.
Good evening, everyone, or good early morning, as the case may be in other parts of the world. So I do have a couple things to show you tonight. And first and foremost, I know I showed Bo last time, but I did want to give you a bit of an update. This was the Bo model as shown last time. And the one thing we noticed was this accent stripe on the top of the tender is gray, and it was in some of the references we saw, it was gray, some showed white, most of them showed gray, but we've determined that it actually should be silver. And the other thing we did was we modified the tender deck to be brown. So that'd be just on the top of the tender deck over here. So I'm going to bring up our newly painted tender just to show you the difference. So here we go here. So this is the new one. So you can see, depending on how the reference was shown, it could show dark like the original sample, but this is actually silver. So that if I change this one, that's not silver, but the new one will be silver. Whoops, wait a minute, got to get it back in the middle of the screen there. And the tender deck is brown now instead of black. There we go. So just a few small change, but I think it makes a big difference. Now the tender will tie in better with, let me get this in the right orientation here. The tender will now tie in better with a boiler showing silver. So that's just a slight modification for last time. So the new product I wanted to show you was our N-scale, our first painted samples of N-scale Emily's coaches. So I've got two to show you here. So this is first the Emily's coach, and there we have that. And the window frames will be painted white. It didn't come in quite right, so that will be modified. I hope that's focusing correctly on on the model. So there's Emily's coach. So this is based on Annie and Clarabelle, of course. It has a new undercarriage. Let me see if I can get that to highlight a little bit better. Lighting's a little tough. There we go, sort of in there. So this undercarriage, underframe area is different from Annie and Clarabelle, unique to Emily's coaches, and the roof is also different. So there's the coach, and then I'll bring up the brake coach here in a second. Hold on one second. There's the brake coach. So I think Emily's going to look sharp with these behind. Of course, we haven't shown you the fully painted sample of Emily yet, but she will be coming as well.
Awesome.
So there they are together. And it's going to make a nice train.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Now for you large scale guys, you've already got Emily's coach and Emily's brake coach, so nothing new for you here. But I think you can appreciate them as well.
Well, I told Christian that one day when I have, unfortunately, this is all I have. My trains are on another coast right now, but I want to collect in every scale that Bachmann offers. So, like, I don't know if everybody's like set on one scale, but I eventually want to have everything.
We like the way you think, and you can always have the miniature amusement ride on the inside of your large scale trains going around. All right, and then probably not a new announcement, but I've certainly showed you Ryan before. You've seen Ryan in the package, but the good news is Ryan hit our warehouse today.
Ooh.
So Ken, get ready for some orders coming into Train World. I hope everyone has pre-ordered. I'm going to do the Ken part right now. Make sure you got your pre-orders in, and these should be at Train World next week.
Wow. Excellent.
So Ryan is ready to rock and roll too.
That's awesome. And I will say the pre-orders on this have been huge. I mean, every Thomas pre-order now is just crazy numbers. My father and the Train World team can't even believe it. It's the fandom has grown so much. It's unbelievable. And so we want to thank everyone out there for their support. But these pre-orders will ship them as quick as possible. We're going to try not to have Christian at the warehouse because he'll probably slow down production of things by wanting to inspect each one. So, but very neat, very neat.
So that's the long and the short of it from me this evening. I'm going to watch as much as the presentation by Henry Fan and John as I can, but I'm going to have to cut out a little bit early for another meeting. So anyway, great to be with everyone tonight. And on behalf of Bachmann, thanks as well from us. So Christian, back to you.
All right.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you
first
so
of all,
much.
is
My
the lag
pleasure.
on? Am I back now?
You're good.
Okay, all right. Because for I'm going to say a good 2 minutes, everything just blacked out, and I got really nervous. So I think I heard at one moment you say Christian has a serious face. Well, yeah, I was very nervous.
he was joking. Yeah.
He heard Ryan was coming and he just froze.
Yeah. I have to say I saw Ryan. I got to see Ryan firsthand. He's one of the most detailed, one of the best models that I've seen. Not that they're all not great, but he's one of the best Bachmann models I've seen.
Thank you,
In
John.
the Thomas line. You're welcome, Doug.
Awesome. All right. So, in terms of presentations, because I want to make sure Doug can see as much as possible, and there's not all this time of me just rambling on about minutia. So, who wants to go first?
Henry,
I'm happy either way.
It's late. Yeah, well, it's much later where you are.
Very good. Okay, so I guess my question for you guys is, where would you like me to start? I've got so much to show.
At the beginning.
First, let's talk about you. Who are you? I guess your background, how'd you get into Thomas, stuff like that.
So the Thomas side of it is as early as I can remember. And I'm very much a hardcore. The earlier series is that's what I was obsessed with, and I always have been. And I kind of strayed away from it for a little period of time, and then I came back to it, and I love the fandom and the modeling side of it. It was surprisingly very influential in my actual personal life in terms of my career, because I was obsessed with the music in Thomas, and uh, I remember the story I was telling to Christian the other day was about my mum, and she would be able to tell which episode I was reenacting with my little Thomas toys when I was a kid from the music I was singing along with them. So I knew all the theme tunes that went with the engines, and went with the stories that were being told. And I ended up going into music as an industry. You can see my small studio, which I've adopted to a display at the moment, and I now work as a composer and musical director. And Thomas really had a massive influence on that. When I look back because I didn't start music until I was about 13 years old, and I taught myself. But I remember the Thomas was the TV show was really influential on that side of things. So yeah, I'm from the UK. I live in London. It's dark outside now, so otherwise I'd show you sunny London. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell, really. The Thomas side of it has just been a lifelong obsession as long as I can remember.
That's awesome, and tons of people are giving you some praise. They already see your collection back there.
So this is just behind me is just the standard of what is available on the Bachmann range. Some of them have got custom faces on, which I get 3D printed, or I buy from an Etsy shop, which is Plastic Moon Emoji, and this is a really good example of a James face from that shop. And they're really cool. Like, they are so realistic to the actual TV series, and they just hook on by magnets and blue tack, so you can move the eyes whichever way you want them, and you can just change the faces literally like this, and put a magnet on. That's it. You got a different face. It's that simple. I think I've got 6 faces for James. So this is one of my most recent ones, which I got 3D printed. Again, 3 magnets, same position. There's nothing too fancy about it. The only problem with installing the magnets on the inside, you have to take out the eye mechanism. And I'm trying to figure out a way that I can actually incorporate the eye mechanism to make the eyes move on the custom-made faces. That I haven't figured out yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I do. Because that would be really cool if I could do that.
Yeah.
Some of the faces I've made from clay, like this one here. This is just a troublesome truck, but this is one that I actually just made from clay. And that was completely eyeballed. I don't use the hook and loop couplings, which is, makes it more realistic if you use the actual chains.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is okay, unless you're on less than radius 3 in terms of track. Like if you're on a radius 1 curve, you get a lot of buffer lock.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's okay. But yeah, that's the general collection. I can show you up close some of them. I've not really modified the main collection yet, but my plan is to repaint some of them and put some piping on them, make them remote control, and put smoke on them. The only one I've modified here would be Diesel. I'm just going to get off my chair and show you. And Diesel, as you can see, I've opened up the cab in the back and put some glass in.
Wow.
So it makes it more realistic. That's a face that I finished today. So yeah, that's pretty much Diesel. Again, these couplings here, these are slightly different, these ones. You can get these from eBay from a guy who 3D prints them. But they're great, and they work as long as you don't put too much pressure on them. Too much pressure, they snap. because they're made out of resin.
Was that face one you made out of clay yourself?
No, so the clay faces is this truck here, and I've got some trucks over here as well. So these are some clay faces I made. This was the first one I ever made.
Wow.
It's okay. It's not neat, but it's almost there. And then this was the second one I made. And that's one of the green trucks that I've weathered as well.
They just add so much character, all the different faces. They look great.
Yeah.
They do. I've got about, I think, 10 new faces that have just been sent to me it's a guy called Thomas Modeler Fan 96 on Twitter. He's the guy who makes the CAD files for my faces and then sends to someone else to print. I don't have a copy of my clay face for Old Slow Coach. So the custom models I've made that are on mine that I just kind of made from scratch using Bachmann products. The first one I made was a character that's actually never made it into the TV series. It's a character called Victoria. She was just in the books. Oh, the roof's come off. She was just in the books. But that's just the repainted Annie and Clarabelle.
Cool.
And I think we're going to make a Helena, which is another one of the book characters that never quite made it. And then there's a couple of some rolling stock, so for example, like the Sodor fuel tanker. This is a weathered version of it, but accurate lettering. This is a guy, Bold Out made the decals for these, but they're very filthy. Really filthy. I've got the milk ones over here as well. This is one just accurate to the TV series.
Wow.
All the decals. And it's a simple thing to do if you want to do that. You can get these from his Etsy store, and that's you just use what's it called? A nail varnish remover, and the thing comes off. And put that on. That's all you need to do to make that.
Great.
But it's not a decal for the weathering. It's just a decal for the
just for the letters. The weathering.
Right. Did you do the weathering?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you do the weathering? Because it looks good.
This is I just got weathering powder, like a coal weathering powder, dabbed it on, and kind of totally improvised it. Like I've not really like watched anything. I've just kind of learned as I went along. Like I've been doing this for about 14 months now. So not long. I'm quite new to it.
I was gonna say it was either that or you left it outside for a couple of days.
I mean, the milk ones really did. I guess so. I've got 3 other things here which are completely custom made, and this one is the biggest one. She has a new.
Sorry. They're saying a new product idea for Doug, Victoria.
I mean,
I'm seeing it.
So this one is 2 Emily coaches put together to make Old Slow Coach. She has a new face as of today.
Amazing.
Like, this
Wow.
is massive.
Look at that.
That's hysterical. That's awesome.
Yeah. The only problem I have with this one is the bogies aren't quite accurate. They're not, but I'm going to get that sorted. But this is her.
Amazing. The face looks incredible, and it reminds me again.
Does.
How did you combine the two so seamlessly? The Emily's coaches.
I can show you the inside if you want.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
I mean, so
Don't break it.
No, she looks pretty on the outside, but on the inside, so as you can see, I just got a ruler and used that to stick them together.
Is it literally 2 of them, like just taken, like you took? Wow. So it's that's incredible.
Same on the inside, bit of plasticard. You can kind of see that there on the inside.
I bet you after lining it up, I bet you it wasn't that complicated. You probably just like had to let it sit for a while, right? After you got it together.
Yeah, the most complicated part of it was actually trying to get it right to the camera. It was this end, because as you can see here, there's actually a double door.
Yeah.
So that here, the door is where it's cut, and then it's down to here.
Wow.
This bit is cut down here, and it's basically you had to turn the Emily coach round to get the double door effect here, and then The cabs at the side, totally improvised. It's like matchsticks and modeling mold.
See, I could never do that. That's crazy.
It was
So I'm sorry, is that 3 cars or 2? Because the double doors, you were able to
2.
do it in 2. Wow.
Yeah, I can show, for example, like this is one of the remaining ends of the original coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's like that. That would have been. Trying to get this on the camera. Would have been about here, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then it's like the other end would have been here. So
Okay.
It does work. It only took 2 coaches, and I've got. If anyone's interested in making their own version, having a go of it, all my stuff is on Instagram. If you go on my profile and on the highlights, it has my entire process there, including all the mistakes I make, because originally she was the wrong color. She was much darker than this. And I might do her again, I think, because the face I only finished yesterday. So voice is cracking. And this is a temporary face because I'm going to get one where the eyes come out. The eyes are actually part of that face. You can see like the paint strokes close by, which I don't like.
Gotcha.
It's not neat enough for me. But I will redo her. And she does work on track.
You set the forum on fire. Everybody's commenting. They love it. Very cool.
And I guess the other 2, which I finished today, yeah, it was. I weathered them before, just did the last minute weathering. Are the here's one.
Wow.
This is Iron Ari, I guess. I haven't decided which one's which. They are. The only thing that needs finishing is the 2 things that go here and there. I haven't got the right spray paint to do them, but I've got the ones above and below on both at the moment. That's what needs finishing off. The decals again by Bold Out. And this is the whole thing. And I've got my track out if you want to see these guys running.
Out.
Absolutely do that for you guys later on. That's one. And get the other one. And here's number 2.
There's faces. You did that, man?
So they are again by Thomas Modler 96 on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He made the CAD file for it. Then my friend Harry Bates, he printed it for me. I sanded it and painted it. And the eyes they are 19mm ball bearings. Should I get them both together? They're so big.
You're getting a workout there.
Oh, I've already been in the gym today. There we are. I'm trying to get the right angle of them. Harry, is that?
They look perfect to me.
Yeah, amazing.
Awesome.
The lining on the front could be better, and I might redo that at some point. But for a first attempt, I'm happy.
I think it looks awesome.
So yeah, and my next project, I put a poll out on Twitter to see what people wanted me to make, and my options were either Stepney or Bill and Ben or Edward, and everyone voted for Edward. So I am starting a G-Scale Edward. We're using a Bachmann James. Sorry about that.
Oh,
James is so excited. So I have finished off for you some Edward faces, which fit onto James.
Oh,
and this will be one of Edward's
wow.
faces. And essentially the process of turning a Bachmann G-scale into James into an Edward is to take out this section here and move everything back, and then kind of chop one of these in half and then make this bit thinner, and put the driving wheel onto this point here, and then I need to find somehow another James buggy wheel. I need one of them. That's going to be my hardest thing, is finding that. Everything else, I've kind of planned how I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you some of the other faces I've got. I've got 4 of his faces ready. Tried to get more ready, but sadly, when I was doing what's it called? When I was working today on this model, on his face, where is it? This one here. The wind blew the box over, and you can see how the it's kind of damaged the side there, so that needs sanding down and redoing. But that's kind of like my plan at the moment with that model. So I'm just going to pick up James's other face. And that's everything in a nutshell. I've got. Does anyone want to see close-ups of anything I have?
Yeah.
What do you want to see?
You want to just? What do you guys think? Just go down the line.
Let's
I
do
modified. So this is a Bachmann Scruffy. I modified him. Simply just I took off the chassis, painted it black, and then weathered it with rust.
That's awesome.
So yeah, unfortunately the face fell off and there's a bit of blue tack there, but I'm gonna get some faces because it's got a couple of different faces. So I'm gonna get that remade. So you've seen these also. Toby, I'll give you a couple of Toby's faces. Again, the plan for all of these is to make them remote control and to install smoke units into them as well. So that's Toby's grumpy face.
Wow.
And then I can take that off. And that's one that I 3D printed. You can see on the inside just black, the magnets are on the other side, that screen. And then just change over your face.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but
So cool.
again, got to take up the eye mechanism for that, so I'm going to try and find a way. I've also got this, which plugs into if you take the hook and loop coupling out, same guy who I get the couplings from on eBay. Links to his stuff are on my Instagram page or my Twitter. That's Toby. My plan for Toby is I'm going to open the cab up and go through that. I've had a look inside to see how to do that, but I need to build something on the inside to protect the motor, because what I didn't want to do is open it up and then be like, oh, my motor's all exposed and get dust inside it. Or that's one thing I need to do with Toby.
Right.
What do you use to cut some of these models when you do the custom builds? Do you use like a Dremel or a hacksaw? Or
Yeah, I'm curious
It's
too.
a combination. So I've got a rotating saw, which anyone under the age of 18, please don't do that. Please don't use those. This is obviously Thomas with his classic face.
Look at that.
But yeah, in terms of cutting it, the first, I think, with old Slow Coach, I used a hacksaw most of the time because I hadn't used electrical saws properly, and I wasn't confident to do that just yet. I remember with Diesel, when I opened up his cab, I just drilled into it and then got a small file and just filed away so I could control where the line was going. Because otherwise, if you slip with the tool, then that means you're gonna ruin the model. And you can kind of see that on my Diesel. Actually, you can see in the cab at the back where the line on the window isn't as neat as it could be. You can kind of see it there.
Can't see it from my house.
I was gonna say I don't think anybody's gonna notice that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you notice it yourself, and you kind of
Of course, if you know it's there, yeah.
Yeah. You were your worst enemy.
Yeah,
Well.
of course. Yeah. I mean, things go wrong all the time. Like I weathered some of the red coaches.
Oh wow.
So they look like this. But this is the one that actually went wrong, because what I thought was, because for some dusting I get a grey spray paint and spray from a distance, so it just lands in a natural area, and I picked up the wrong bottle of spray paint. I picked up the blue one that I use for Victoria. So the other side, it's got blue all over it. And I was like, oh, I need to fix that. That's not what I want it to be. But there's actually on the 1 second, it's actually on the floor on the layout.
Well, while you're going for that model, you had asked about getting a new front truck for James. I'm not 100% certain, but you might be able to get that from our parts department. I don't know if you looked online, but we do have some parts available, so it could be there.
I did have a look, and it says I can only buy the chassis, which is the whole model,
Oh,
essentially.
okay,
Like,
gotcha.
wow. So I might need to look at getting one 3D printed or something like that. We'll see. I'll figure something out. This is the brake coach of the red coaches. I modified the back to open up the windows.
Wow.
And this lamp, it's not wired up yet, but it does light up. But that's a weathered version of them. They're very dirty. They're really dirty.
Yeah, but
coaches.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, I guess, I'm trying to think of other stuff to show you, apart from all the faces. I have got all the faces. Not all of them, there's plenty others. I can't find my face for Spiteful Brake Fan, but I have modified the brake fan to look more like a TV series one, which again, is on the layout. I mean, I can just show you the layout if you want me to. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to give you a tour of what my living room looks like when I get the layout out. I'm trying to think if there's a way I can change the camera to my camera in the front of my iPad. Don't think I can.
There should be.
So,
if you look at the bottom there, when I looked, there was an option that said more right next to chat, and then it goes settings. Then you go into camera, and then you should be able to switch it.
yeah, cool. So you can see some of it here. This is some of my layout. Couple of TV series stuff there. So that's my cello.
Wow.
There's Annie and Clarabelle. I've not really done much to Annie and Clarabelle apart from make the chassis completely black and slightly weather them. And you can see the range of faces I have for each train there.
Wow! Look at Percy.
Yeah, it's a great. That's a face from Plastic Moon Emoji. These are all Plastic Moon emojis there, except for the Thomas sad face. And then we have Toby again. Other Diesel faces.
Diesel's wonderful too.
Definitely.
I only have one face for Emily, but she's pleased about that. Yeah. Do you guys want to see Ari and Bert running around?
Yeah.
I can
Let's see it.
arrange that for you. Give me 1 second. Let me just put them on the track.
Doug and I suggested to Doug when I saw him that maybe Ari and Bert were a logical thing for large scale.
Yeah, they would. I mean, you've got the files for them already, I guess. Okay.
And that's Diesel underneath?
Yes.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
So,
Do you ever trip on the tracks inside the home?
sometimes, I mean, he's just on a trip there. The one thing that I would say, can be a little bit detrimental sometimes is not using the hook and loops.
Yeah.
Say, for example,
no.
it's just right there, buffer lock straight away. Which it's more of a problem when it comes to reversing or pushing. Pulling is absolutely fine.
Is there a way to avoid that or like modify that? Because I took the couplings off some of mine too, and I noticed of course, the same exact thing. I'm
honestly not entirely sure.
I guess you'd have to like make buffers, like real buffers.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to do that. I'm going to look into it though. But it does work. Like you can see my videos that they do work. I'm just gonna set up old slow coach as well because she's not had him around for a while. If you want to take over a second whilst I do that, it'll take me just 2 seconds.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to say goodbye at this point. Thank you, Henry Fan 91. Awesome product job on your modeling and layout. John, I'm going to look at your contribution to the show this evening on the tomorrow. I'll watch it on
Doug.
YouTube.
There's not going to be too much. I have nothing compared to Henry Fan. I took out my large scale collection just to give it a quick show, and because most of my real collection is back home in Philadelphia, and that's actually a question I have for you, Doug. Before you go, is there any? If I were to come to Bachmann in Philadelphia, I always wanted to do that as a kid, and I'm taking a trip there to go home soon to see some family. Is there any Is there anything to do with or is it more of a business place?
It's just it's an office in a warehouse.
Okay.
There's not we don't have anything suitable for touring, unfortunately.
All right.
So, but safe travels back to Philadelphia.
Thanks.
And thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone watching. Christian and Ken, always great to see you. I'll see you everyone on the next Thomas Tuesday.
Just hoping.
All right,
perhaps, Doug.
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, and thanks for the announcement on Ryan. Ryan is coming in, so if you want Ryan, make sure you get your pre-order in.
Always a pleasure. All right, so long. Take care.
All right, take care, Doug.
There she is.
Wow, look at that.
So it doesn't go into the table. 1 second.
That's awesome.
Yeah, again, that's just using the hook and loop, not the hook and loop, the 3-link chain.
Wow, you can really see the length when it goes. Wow.
Oh yeah, she's bigger than Emily, or maybe it might be the same size actually.
Man, Thomas Percy and old slow coach vibes right there.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I have to ask,
so
just real quick. I wasn't doing a lot of talking because I knew that Doug had to leave early, but I'll just say right now, do you ever go on your keyboard or on your cello and have an engine run around, and as they're running around, you play their theme on the cello on the piano?
Joe, I've never done that, and now I feel like I need to.
We want a concert.
That would be pretty epic. I feel like that would go viral if you did a reel or something on Instagram and you had Thomas's theme playing as the G-Skill Thomas is going around the loop. That would hit like crazy.
I think Christian secretly wants to start his own orchestra for the Thomas I guess run or whatever. Christian is actually a very good piano player as well.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Maybe we should do that. I mean, it's great. Is it the Music Maniac, Luke Pickman?
Yeah,
Instrumaniac
or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's it. Instrumaniac. Yeah, his work. I always use his music for my videos.
Really
I think it's been one time when I haven't, but like this, it's so good.
Well, we were talking about it a little bit right before we started. It seems like a lot of it's everything. Even in the movies, I went into film as a career, but when the best movies have everything. They have great acting, they have great stories, they have great music, and that's what I feel like Thomas was for a while. It really was like a lot of miniature movies that had this music that was totally incredible. That was honestly like orchestra worthy, and it changed after a while.
Yeah. No, it did. Well, that's why all of us have such nostalgia for the first 7 series and then some of the other seasons after here and there. But it's Audrey and Mike and Junior and David Mittenberg, Alcott, they all laid such a great foundation for what we have today,
Yes.
as fans. And there's a reason why, 20, 30, 40 years later, we're still looking back at that show,
Yes.
because it's so inspiring. And just
Well,
what's
now
incredible.
I think, if anything, I hope with the recent boom and like the love for nostalgia, I hope that with the 80th anniversary, like right around the corner, maybe there'll be a revitalized effort in like creating something for like the older fans of Thomas. Because say what you want about All Engines Go, I say this all the time. It now makes the need for if you're going to go that young on one side, I think you have to create something for the ample older fans. So I still hold that hope for that.
Yeah. And even then, we've got Doug Blaine and the Bachmann trains, man. He keeps repping us out, surprising us with such incredible products and little skills. So it's like we got that, and then we'll see. Maybe one day Mattel will also do something for us too. We'll see.
I think they will. I hope they will.
So, anyways, John, let's take a look at your collection now.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Most of us. So just to give you
great job, Ashley.
Yeah, great job, Ashley. So I meant to say that too. I didn't mean to ignore that. Sorry.
Christian's just cutting you right off, Ashley.
Move right along.
Right to John.
All right. I guess I should leave.
Great job. Great job.
My presentation's not going to be very long at all. Just to background, I guess. I've liked Thomas for as long as I can remember. Like, I can't even really remember getting into it. I was just always into it, even as a kid. Shining Time Station was on when I was little, and that was it. I had every line of merchandise. I got into Thomas YouTube videos like right at the beginning, and it was like 2006, 2007, and I have a few videos on there, but my channel was very short-lived because I moved away. I moved away from my trains anyway. I moved to California to go to school and pursue a career in filmmaking and acting, which I'm happy to say I'm still doing. But you get bored and you miss your trains. So in that time, I've bought a lot of large-scale stuff just to have something to do around the apartment. So that's what I'll show you today. And I'm hoping me and Christian made a little something when I went back about a year. What was it about? Wow, about 2 years ago now, Christian, right?
Yeah, already. Feels like it was just last summer, but it was actually 2 summers
right
ago.
Yeah.
So.
We made a little something on his layout, and I'm hoping when I get a space to build my layout back up again and like show the videos that I have, because I do have some videos that have never been seen from that layout, and make some more. But for now, I'll just show you guys real quick. I have a lot of the older large scale stuff, like from the I have a lot of the new Bachmann stuff, but I have a lot of the old like Lionel stuff, like from like the back in the days. Like I just set up a little something to show everything off right now. So we have like Annie and Clarabelle and Thomas from and the thing about the Lionel figures is if you really tried, you could get them to fit in the engines. So the Fat Controller, and Christian wanted to see this because this is kind of like the shot in Pop Goes the Diesel, or what is it, Christian? Dirty Work?
Yeah, Pop Goes the Diesel, Dirty Work, or Diesel's Devious Deed, right?
Yeah. And I was able to get all these Lionel Troublesome trucks. They don't make these anymore, and I do have a few more large scale items back in Philadelphia because I got Thomas and Percy and Annie and Clarabelle and the 2 trucks. But these trucks are a little different. The faces come out and like you can swap them out between the things, which I always thought was pretty cool. I never had these as a kid. I just got them after. So I was able to track down 9 of them, which was pretty cool. I have Winston in a truck here, 3 tar tankers, and a GW, which I believe has been discontinued, right? Christian?
I think so. Yeah.
They just discontinued this van. I was able to get for a really good price these 2 I believe they're LGB cranes, which function like are fully functional, and I have Diesel here on a flatbed in between, just waiting to be taken to the works.
Very cool.
These 2 these, I did some research. These were paint your own tankers, which I happened to find at a hobby shop, which somebody had painted into this like silvery color, which fans from Thomas will kind of recognize. They sort of look like some vans that were around in the tankers that were around in the first season.
Mhm.
And just in here, I have, I don't know if you can see him, just a little guard that I stuck in there. I wanted to ask Doug, I don't know why, ever since the Spiteful Brake Van came out, I mean, I love the Spiteful Brake Van, but now you can't get a regular brake van anywhere. He's the only one that you can buy. Here I have, I was able to get a driver into James, which I thought looked really pretty good.
Just real quick, John, actually, I was just thinking, they came out with those 4 brake van recolors in HO, the track cleaning ones.
Yeah, an HO. That would be great.
Those could be pretty cool. Those would be an easy product for large scale or G scale.
I think so too. I would just love. I was a really big fan of the regular Bachmann brake van that they discontinued. Just the cream gray one.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And last but not least, we have Emily, and I was actually able to get a little driver figure in her as well, just like sitting on the side. And that's basically it. So zoom in. I have a lot more. Christian will tell you. Here's the old boxes, which Thomas fans will really like, because this takes us back to a much simpler time. This packaging.
Yeah.
All the track. I don't know if you guys remember when you used to get the VHSs, at least in the US, there used to be tracks on the back, and I used to think they were these tracks. So I was really excited, and I used to think they would come out in every color, but of course it was just the yellow. So I have a lot more of them. Here's all the boxes, but there's some more. So that's about it, guys. I'm trying to think of what else to say.
Yeah, I mean it's a great collection, John, and I know like you've got even more stuff.
Yeah, if I could show you, I would love to show you. I would love to show you the HO collection, and I do have an N-scale collection as well, but it's not as big.
That's awesome.
So that's about it. Not
really
too much.
Neat to see that old Lionel stuff. It really brings you back.
I got really lucky. I think like everything else, the price boom kind of 2020 hit, but I think it hit model trains a little late. Right. So I was able to get a lot of these trucks for really, really cheap, and I got all this. Christian knows the Christmas 2021. I was able to track down like a lot of these in the box, these straight track packs and all that stuff, which is cool, honestly, only because I'll be perfectly honest with you, some of it's not in the best condition. It works, like you can get it running if you set everything. Like there's definitely some kinks in the track here, like it wouldn't go all the way around, but if you set it up right, make sure all the fish plates are like in the right position, it'll all run. But it's more the nostalgia factor of like having everything. That's really it's cool about it.
And John, Dan, the 25 man wants to know, did you have an Ertl collection back in the day?
Oh yes.
Okay.
If they made it, I had it. I'm really hoping one day. Unfortunately, recently there was a bit of a I consider it a tragedy. A lot of stuff was in my house was mistakenly thrown away. That was the house that we rent out in Philly was a lot of wooden stuff, and that kind of broke my heart because that was some older stuff, and honestly some like not Thomas stuff like Christmas decorations, which really made me sad. But that's the only thing in my old collection that didn't really survive. So one day when I have a house that's big enough, I want to have a big room, and you guys will see everything.
Very neat.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And again, for anyone who wants to see more of John's stuff, check out his Thomas J219 YouTube channel.
Yes.
He's got a layout tour that's actually over a decade old, but it's a huge collection, and it just shows even over 10 years ago how much you could get in Thomas.
Oh, it was a wonder. 2004 to 12 were like golden years.
Yeah.
Thomas. Not that it's not great now, but you were just getting unbelievable amounts of stuff.
Yeah.
And we got a question here. Braden wants to know, what's your favorite G scale item?
I don't know. I have to say probably Diesel. I don't know why. I love a big Class 08. You can see how everything works. It's close between Diesel and Emily, but I think it would be Diesel.
And Ashley, what's your favorite G scale engine?
I don't know. I think it would be James because he was the first one I bought. It was I bought him nearly 2 years ago. It was just the one thing that I was like that that's what I want. I want that. And then I think a month later I bought Percy, and then it's just gone out of control. And now I've got like 10 trucks, 8 vans, and so many.
Very
That's
neat.
how it goes.
Now, before we get into some more Q&A with both Ashley and John, Christian, why don't we raffle off this Bachmann N-Scale starter set? Do you want to think of a question and we'll raffle it off, or should we just come off with a statement for them to put in the chat?
A good question. Okay. Think of a question. John, you're good with trivia questions. What do you think would be a good trivia question? Not an obvious one, but one that a reasonable amount of people could possibly get.
All right. You want to go like just something from the show?
Something from the show, I think, but something specific. Something specific. You know, not something that's obvious.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's a good one. Everybody knows that Jem Cole fixed Trevor, but who else did he fix?
That's really good. Really good. Let's see how many people get that, John.
I don't see anyone typing in.
You guys don't know. Come on. I can give you a hint. Christian, you must know, right?
Here it comes. Here it comes. All right.
Here it goes.
All right. I guess everybody took a little while to think about that.
John. That was a really good one.
Cool. It was also
that was one
first your top hat.
That's why I didn't know. That's why I didn't know. I was like, I'm not sure.
That's technically Classic Series. It's season 6.
Yeah, you know, Ken, one of my friends who's probably watching this, Jacob Ketty, brought this up, but it's been 2 years since Thomas Tuesday began. I mean,
wow.
2 years.
Really?
2 years. Yeah, we started this in May of 2021.
2 years?
And the reason why I bring this up too is, you know, we've been doing these
2 years. You're sure on that?
2 years, yeah. May 2021 was
Get
the
out
first
of
Thomas
here.
Tuesday, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason why I also bring this up, Ken, is that, you know, we've been doing these raffles for 24 months now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's time that we, you know, ramp it up with how challenging the question is.
Okay. All right.
You know, I remember, Ken, the first question was, what episode was Busy Bee James from? And it was the most obvious thing at the time. So
wow, the years are going very quickly.
Yeah.
That's it. 2 years. Wow.
Yeah, it feels like it was just a few months ago, but no.
That's unbelievable. All right. Very good. All right. And then we also saw some questions for John and Ashley before. Which train will you buy next?
Well, I have to buy a James next to turn it into an Edward. That's the next one. And then I think I'm not sure how I'm going to do the next, but my next two after that is Bill and Ben. I just don't know whether to buy 2 Percy's to do that or whether I need to buy 2 other chassis and kind of scratch build those. I'm trying to figure that out. But James, definitely, this month.
Cool.
You know what's funny? When I spoke to Doug at the show in Costa Mesa, we were talking about large scale and, you know, all the scales. But I suggested, like, if you're gonna get the most, because let's face it, you got to get the most bang for your buck. The more money you get, the more trains you can make. If you were to do in 1 year, kind of like, because I don't know if everybody remembers, they announced Bill and Ben and Donald and Douglas at the same time. They didn't come out at the same time, but they announced them at the same time, way back in yesteryear. But if you were to do, I think the smartest move for Bachmann, large scale wise, would be to do Ari and Bert and Bill and Ben, because really, when you think about it, they're only making one engine, but they're getting four because they already have Diesel, so they do that, and then you do Bill or Ben, and then that's it. So that would be my suggestion. So I hope you can maybe show them how to make a nice Bill and Ben.
I'll see about that. I mean, if you look at the response Ari and Bert have had on my Facebook and not my Facebook, my Instagram, and I'm more popular on TikTok than anywhere else, which surprises me. I went viral overnight, and I was like, "What?"
I meant to say, I'd love to see you do a large scale Mavis.
I have thought about that, and I wasn't sure whether I'd need to buy a Toby to do that, or whether to buy. There's other ways to, because I know someone who's working on a large scale salty, which would be cool. Because the thing is, and we had this conversation the other day with Christian about with large scale, like a lot of people ask me about, because my favorite engine is Henry, hence the name, and people ask me, will you make a large scale Henry? And I'm like, it wouldn't work. I don't think the chassis, because large scale is actually, it's really popular in the UK for gauge 3 modelers, because the body of the actual trucks or the engines are actually gauge 3 and the chassis are gauge 1. And what a lot of modelers do is buy the Thomas Bachmann range and then convert them to gauge 3, because it's cheaper to do that than it is to buy gauge 3 kit. And that's how I found out about making a slow coach, because I saw someone had made the exact same thing, but as a GWR coach, and made a rake of 4 of them. So they bought 8 Emily coaches and made 4 GWR coaches. And I was like, I saw it and went, oh my God, I need to make all slow coach. That's what I need to do next. And then I kind of followed their instructions and figured out how they did it, and then did it myself. And but yeah, it's really popular for gauge 3 modelers for that reason.
Well, I remember I went to England the last time I was in England was in 2016. I went to this great little model shop, and they told me that that was the year that the narrow gauge line launched for Bachmann, and most of the people who were buying it, not the Thomas fans weren't buying it, but were modelers who wanted those models and were kit bashing them. And I think Bachmann finally realized that market, because you'll see this year there's those recolors of Skylowy, because it's a huge market. But I guess the question for me, the next one that I would like to get large scale would be James, because he's one of the few I don't have. James or Toby, probably James, but I'm planning to get Ryan when I come back to Philadelphia. I'm hoping to get up to buy it from Train World personally, if he's in stock by the time that I'm there. So that's my plan. But he's going to be the next one, and who knows, whatever I decide to buy with him, like another piece of rolling stock.
And I guess another question would be, what is the hardest project you ever did, or customized, or put together?
I think I'm about to do it. I'm genuinely terrified of sawing James in half and redoing that. It's new territory. I think I would say old slow coach, because it was literally chopping 2 pieces in half and put them together. That's literally what I did. Ari and Bert was just knock out the cabs and the repaint and stick on some decals that I ordered, like and weathering. So that wasn't as much of a challenge, but I think the scary one was definitely getting the rotating saw and putting it into an Emily coach and being like, please work. Also, I had to build the chassis. Sorry, the chassis for Old Slow Coach is from it's just a freight thing which I separated, and she's on the floor. Can't get her now. I had to take apart that, so that was the hard part of Old Slow Coach, but it's not accurate yet. I'm going to redo that, but yeah, that was my hardest project. Thanks.
It really does, and it goes around, the way it's spaced. I'm sure it goes around perfect.
Yeah, it goes around. I think now I've got a proper face for her, I'll make a new reel. I'm going away for the weekend, so probably next weekend I'll probably put some more footage up of her going around and being like she's finally finished after months.
Nice.
Awesome.
The hardest project I ever did was I like to film reenactments. That's what my channel was. But before I left, actually, me and Christian were talking about showing it on here. If I ever come back, maybe next time we'll do that. Right before I moved away in summer 2009, so about a while ago now, I shot completely with Thomas models and a remake of a scene from the Batman film, The Dark Knight, which I was obsessed with that year. And it's about 11 minutes long, complete with like fire effects and everything like that. And I kind of went crazy. But I tried to put it on YouTube a couple years ago, and they wouldn't let me do it because it was like copyrighted out, like craziness. So if maybe one day I'll screen share it and I can show it on here, it'll be like a little lost video from like 14 years ago.
Yeah. No, John, you showed me that explosion. That was pretty insane. You showed me.
Yes, that was cool.
And it took only one take.
Well, I like to say stupid and smart. I had a building that I lined with, underneath I put plastic wrap, like wax paper kind of a thing. And then I put a little bit of a match and I had it lit underneath. And then in a spray bottle, I had lighter fluid. I turned the camera on and I just let the little flame burn. And then I sprayed the lighter fluid. So there were these like little puffs and it could stay contained. And it looked okay on the camera.
Yeah.
And I had water, of course, nearby to put everything out. Don't play with fire, kids.
Yeah. Season 5 attempt by John.
Yes. Oh, well, that's the thing. It was. That's what, and that's what I think Henry fan and I have in common, and a lot of fans from that time have in common. It really, Thomas, especially that season. I grew up with season 5. It was the first season that I remember being released. That was like, oh my goodness! I know for a fact when season 5 came out, I was like, where are you going to go from here? Like that was what I was thinking. I didn't know where Thomas was going to go from there. And in a way, that was really the peak in a lot of ways. But at least in terms of like scale of filmmaking. But it was really influential in a lot of us, and I think it made a lot of people pursue a lot of come on, there's not a lot of fandoms that have fans our age who are still like talking about it and this passionate and excited for new releases. I think it's really something special.
Definitely.
Well said.
Yeah, I totally agree. I grew up on season 5 as well. I remember having it on VHS and watching on repeat. I think it was Duncan Gets Spooked, that episode on repeat. I don't know what it was. There's just something about that episode that fascinated me. And before I went into composing for film and TV and theatre, I actually wanted to go into film directing. So I only went to composing because I was then told I had to write music for film, and I was like, oh, what's that? It's so influential on that side of it, and there's a lot of filmmakers who from the Thomas fandom, because that's what we do. It's part of the hobby. Like making the models is one thing, but we all film them as well.
Yeah, and real quick, while we're on the subject, I just came back from work the other day, and I put on Howard Laurie. It came up in my recommended on YouTube, the Alec Baldwin narration, and I watched the whole thing, and I just thought to myself, this is so good. Like, this is just so good, so therapeutic, and,
Well, I think a lot of people, adults especially, like my mom, she always was very supportive, because I don't know about you guys, growing up, liking Thomas was not a good thing. Was not a popular thing to like. Really, even in England, it was like that. I would have assumed it would have been a little more.
I know if I said that I liked Thomas when I was like above the age of 8, people would have like laughed at me.
See, at least you got to 8.
I'm like
for me,
32, and I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
It gets there. But for me, it was like weird. Even when I was in like preschool, like 3-4 years old, it was just not something. And I recognize now it's because I believe it was a little more. And I hate to say it, it sounds pompous to say, but it was a little more intellectual than some of the other shows, especially in America at the time, that were more popular for kids that age. But it was not something that was, really popular to like, and it got me through a lot of stuff. There used to be a guarantee on the videos, Thomas will be your friend for life, and that was the truth, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice. All right, and I guess on the topic of Thomas and what's coming out, Doug mentioned that Ryan will be out, and so don't forget to get your pre-order in. We still are taking pre-orders in. They'll be out shortly, so make sure you get it in as soon as it arrives in the warehouse. We'll be shipping them out shortly. And we saw a lot of G scale tonight. So if you're interested in some Bachmann G scale, you could go by brand, sort out by G scale, and sort under trains if you just want Thomas and Friends and all the G scale trains. And you could bash them up or mash them up like Ashley and John did tonight. They did some great details and weathering and all that great stuff. And you could even hacksaw your own G scale trains, but after you hacksaw them up, please do not return them. But great job. But all this stuff is really awesome, and it's the perfect time for spring. Spring, you're getting ready for that Garden Railway and getting ready for outdoor train season. And Bachmann has all the Bachmann G scale Thomas and Friends line for you. So great stuff, and great job, Christian, finding all these awesome guests. I mean, unbelievable. What a tremendous night.
Absolutely, Ken. It wouldn't be possible without the work of John and Henry Fan. I mean, they're the ones who have been in the fandom even longer than I have. And also, like, just social media in general, like without Twitter, without YouTube, without all these venues, that I can look and constantly be inspired, this would not be possible. So it's just thank you guys so much again for coming on tonight. It was such a pleasure to see your collections and models.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone watching tonight was greatly inspired and going to go on Train World and order all these models, maybe make their own custom old slow coach too. Actually,
I want to see.
We'll see how they handled the cut job with the two Emily's coaches, but we'll see.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
All right.
Well
Look forward to the NMRA announcements.
Yes, they'll be here before we know it this summer, guys. There will be more. There will be more.
And John, Ashley, great job tonight. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
Ken.
on. It's really awesome to see other modelers, especially Thomas modelers, come on, present, and show them and hear their story and all that stuff. So it was really nice. God bless you. God bless you.
Sorry.
And Ashley, I know you're in a different time zone, so we appreciate you hopping across the pond.
It's okay. It's no problem at all. So I'm really bunged up with hay fever right now.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Ashley is so impressed and sentimental. He's tearing up about this live stream, so we really appreciate it.
It was really cool to be a part of one. It was nice to meet you guys. Nice to be here, and it's really nice because, like I said, I don't get a chance to talk to other people about Thomas very much, so it's always very nice to do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been great. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you both. Thank you, Christian, for putting this together. Until next time, hopefully we'll get back on track for another Thomas Tuesday. For next month. But with that being said, may the 4th be with Thomas. Thank you, everyone. And make sure you get your pre-orders in at trainworld.com. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.